Hey everybody, Alex Kozora, SteelersDepot.com, here to bring you another video on the hot button, obviously most recent topic of Le'Veon Bell. Hopefully the audio, I know I say this every time, but hopefully the audio sounds good and the video is decent. It looks like it's as good as last time. I have a new computer, just got it today, having to work out the bugs and the kinks to make sure everything, at least it looks like it works, but hopefully it does. If you have any issues, of course, with the video or more importantly the audio quality, please let me know either on Steelers Depot in the comment section at my Twitter account or on YouTube, however you can reach me. To get that out of the way, though, what I wanted to talk about today was, the Le'Veon Bell situation. And as I'm sure every one of you knows by now, the team and Bell did not come to a long-term deal this past Monday at 4 p.m. So, Bell will play this season, his 2017 season, on his $12.1 million franchise tag and be scheduled to become a free agent this upcoming year. We've talked a lot about why the deal didn't happen. Bell, obviously wanted more money than what the Steelers offered. He said it himself to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN that he felt like he wasn't being offered what he values himself at. And we've talked about, Bell, will he attend camp right away or will he, quote-unquote, hold out, even though it's not really a holdout because there's no financial, benefit to be gained by doing so. But, will he not show up and be in Latrobe for day one? I've been steadfast in saying he should be there day one. Will he? I don't know. Everyone who kind of talks about this stuff and reports these things, although there's nothing concrete, seems to indicate that Bell is going to take his time and be similar to Eric Berry and wait until the third week or last preseason game, or at least not be there day one. I think that's a mistake, but that's another issue entirely. What I want to get to today is what happens after this season. And before the reported contract offer came out, which we wrote about on Steelers Depot, you can check it out, and before Bell's comments to Fowler, Dave and I had talked about on the Terrible Podcast, what do you think happens after this season? And I was more optimistic than Dave and said, I think there's a chance that they can still get a long-term deal done because I felt like there was a good faith between both sides. Both sides want to get a deal done. A lot of negotiation went down on Monday. It's a good situation there. Bell wants to stay in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wants to retain Bell, and I'm sure they made a lot of progress Monday, which will be a good kind of launching off point for the offseason. You have the entire offseason. I'm sure that stuff wouldn't happen closer to deadlines anyway, but I think you'd be a lot closer and have a little extra time to get that deal done. Now, to be honest, I don't know if that's going to be in play. I really don't think it is. I think for the Steelers to retain Le'Veon Bell for the 2018 season next year, they're probably going to have to use the franchise tag, which by estimates right now will cost around $14.4, give or take a little bit, $1 million. And the reason for that is, based off the reports that USA Today had about the offer, the best offer the Steelers gave Bell, which we don't know exactly everything. It's been reported 5 years with, I forget the exact number, I want to say $42 million through the first 3 years, definitely $30 million through the first two, and it would have been an average yearly value of somewhere over 12. We don't know the exact figure. That's a fair offer. I think, of course, to you and I, who would never, I'm assuming at least, would never see that kind of money, it seems like it's, any amount of money would be a fair offer, and it would make Bell the highest paid back in the league. But when these numbers leak, they're usually team-driven in some sort of effort to get some negative, press and feedback to the player. And I'm sure that number came somewhere from the Steelers. It did not come from Bell's camp because all that does is kind of hurt Bell's side, where fans are going to be unhappy, and understandably so, that Bell didn't take what is obviously a mega deal for you and I. You see that play out in Washington with Kirk Cousins as well, and that was the team making an official statement, and that's a whole mess over there. But when you see the offer, you see the numbers, and you see some of these agents that write about it, whether it's Over the Cap or Joel Corey or any some of the other big cap guys that know this stuff in and out. It's a fair offer, and it was a very competitive offer, and my guess, that's as good as it's going to get from Pittsburgh. I really can't see Pittsburgh going any higher than what they offered. They gave in my opinion and many others, a very fair, competitive offer, and it's basically you're bidding against yourself because Bell is setting the market, and there's nowhere even close to him. Now I think Devonta Freeman might get a deal done at some point. I'm not too sure what his situation is. That could shake things up a little bit, but I think the Steelers' offer was very fair, and I can't see it changing. I think that's as good as it's going to get, and obviously Bell does not want to take it. Now the circumstances could change. He could get hurt or have somehow a down year of some sort that isn't injury related, though I can't fathom how that would happen. That's not injury or suspension related. That could drive his market down. But if it doesn't, and you assume that Bell has a relatively healthy and then another strong year, he's not going to want to take less, of course, especially eyeing the open market and knowing he could possibly get more on the open market when you have 10 plus teams going after him. It drives his price up. It's obviously supply and demand. It's not going to change the Steelers' offer, though, and I think that they're not going to go to $15 million per year if that's what Bell really wants. And based off the report that he turned down, I mean, that's got to be somewhere close to what he wants, and obviously guaranteed money. He wants more of it. So the Steelers, I think, only option at this point is to tag Bell and to the exclusive franchise tag, which will again cost $14.4 million. Because I don't see any other option right now of a long-term deal happening. I mean, a lot could change. Who knows? We're sitting here in July right now talking about stuff that's going to happen this upcoming winter. It's impossible to predict, but I'm pretty confident in this fact that the Steelers' offer is not going to get a lot better, that they gave their best shot at it, and either Bell can return after the season and take that offer, or you go out there and say, I want to test free agency, which will leave the Steelers with two options. Let him test free agency. It's probably not a good idea if you're Pittsburgh, especially if Ben Roethlisberger comes back. Or put the franchise tag on him. Transition tag's not going to be in play because then you're just going to lose him. And franchise tag's going to be your best bet to basically ensure that you're going to be able to retain him. I'm sure Bell will not be happy with that. We go back to the Eric Berry comparison. After the season, the Chiefs franchise tagged Berry again for the second time. Berry was very upset with that, said, I will not play under the franchise tag. I will hold out as long as it takes. He was very candid and blunt about that. And the Chiefs worked out a long-term deal with him. But again, in Pittsburgh, I don't really see a long-term deal working out this upcoming offseason. Because, again, the Steelers' offer is as high as it's going to get. That is a very competitive price, like for all the reasons I laid out earlier, and it wasn't enough for Ben. And that's fine for Bell. And that's fine if you're Bell. I'm not trying to paint Bell as the bad guy here. I'm not trying to say he's dumb or greedy or selfish for that regard. It's business. If he doesn't want to take the offer, he doesn't have to take the offer. He could, in theory, get more on the open market when he becomes a free agent. If he bets on himself, stays healthy, has a great year, stays clean off the field, obviously he's going to get a ton of money if he would ever hit the market. And so that's understandable. And while I probably would have taken the money, and I definitely would have taken the money, but I'm sure many others would agree, it's Bell's choice to turn that contract down and bet on himself. So I'm not trying to paint him out to be the bad guy here. As I've said before, I want players to get every single cent that they can, because the NFL, contracts aren't guaranteed. It's not like baseball. It's not like basketball where you get these huge salaries. I mean, it's huge to you and I, but compared to other sports, it's nothing. And compared to what the NFL makes as a whole, again, a multi-billion-dollar industry, players get a fraction of that. So I am all for players getting everything that they can, because their career span is so short, especially for running backs. And you got to get everything you can, especially guaranteed, because you never know what can happen. You're one hit away from your career taking a big turn for the worst, or just ending entirely. Look at Teddy Bridgewater now. He's trying to come back from. We've seen Bell's injury history too. He's aware of the risk that he's taking, but the Steelers aren't going to go much higher, or really any higher. And I think we all recognize that at this point, if that report is true and accurate, which I assume that it is. And that leaves the Steelers with one of two options. Let him walk, which is a bad option, and franchise tag him, which is not a good option. Bell's not going to like it. The team's not going to like it. No one likes to be hamstrung for $14 million on one guy for 1 year. But I think it's the lesser of two evils. It would be the best course for the team to take. So we'll see what happens in the offseason. But I think the tag is not only the way to go, it is the only way to go. So we'll see what happens. So let me know your thoughts on what happens with Le'Veon Bell after this season. The short-term stuff, while there is going to be obviously a lot of discussion about it, it's in the long term for this season kind of meaningless. He's going to show up eventually. Of course, I want him there day one, but it's not the end of the world if he doesn't. I think it's going to cause a lot of frustration with Ben and teammates, but it's not going to affect Bell's performance in 2017. So let me know what you think about what happens after this offseason. Does a long-term deal get done? Do the Steelers tag him again, or do the Steelers let him walk? So yeah, those are the three options. I've laid out, I think, my rationale, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think as well. So let me know in the comment section, either on YouTube or Steelers Depot, or on Twitter. You can catch me at Alex_Kozora. Of course, stay tuned with Steelers Depot as we start to inch closer to training camp. We're less than almost a week out from camp, so that's super exciting. We'll, of course, be there for practices and do our daily reports and have our podcasts and everything like that. So, obviously, really exciting year. Can't wait to go back out to Latrobe. Can't wait to share that time with you guys. Can't wait to meet some of you guys out at St. Vincent College. And if you haven't been to St. Vincent before, if you haven't been to Steelers training camp, and you are able to, please go. It's a fantastic experience. It's one of the most fan-friendly environments around. If you're at St. Vincent, it's absolutely free. You can go the whole day without spending $1, and it's just a unique environment to be in. It's a ton of fun. So if you can make it out there, watch practice. Say hello to me, too. Always like chatting you guys up before and after practice. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.